Good morning and welcome to TalkSports. It's our weekend program. We call it the Saturday Sports Special, and where we meet and speak with the movers and shakers of sports, the sportsmen, sportswomen, administrators, coaches, just about everyone involved in sports. Well, as indicated, it's an open discussion for the month of September, and we'll be talking a number of things. We're looking at football, netball, chess, track and field. Yes, it's the final day of the Diamond League, right? It's a 2-day for the finals, Friday and Saturday. So today is the final day of the Diamond League in Brussels, Belgium. So we'll be looking at that. And we'll look at some football. We have the Concacaf Nations Cup going on. We have men's netball. Yes, men's netball, Caribbean tournament. We'll also look at some cricket. Well, hopefully, because last week we had a number of things to talk about, and then we got into chess, which ended up being a very useful and productive discussion from the feedback we had. So we'll be talking a number of things. And as usual, I welcome my guests in Toronto, my co-hosts rather, Rudian Sylvan. Rudian, good morning to you and welcome.
Yeah, pleasure. Good morning to you and our regular listeners and who is new to the show today. Welcome. I'm certainly, talking sports, especially track and field, the last track and field meet for the season.
Well,
That's
officially,
it.
officially,
Yeah,
yes,
officially
because
the
there's
end
another
of the
meet
end. Yeah,
towards the end of September in at Icon Stadium. Well, it's more or less
yeah.
for
Where is more? Yeah,
women's only. Big money
yeah,
and offer.
yeah. So certainly, that looking forward to that. A lot of new things that's going on. Men's netball. That is certainly seem like it's hitting the airways and the byways. So seem like we have to put this sport out there that it could be an Olympic sport in 8 years. So so surely because every seem like every and anything now is an Olympic sport. So I think it's time for netball to get in there.
Well, as Frankie Joseph was saying, if we don't make the push, meaning the Caribbean, that's our
Nothing
traditional
will happen. Yeah, yeah,
skating and climbing and all these quote unquote non-traditional could
yeah.
be it. Why not a sport
Yeah,
that
yeah.
millions
But
of
but net,
you're muted. Well, I'm not hearing you clearly. Go ahead.
William playing. You hear me? You have the Australians playing, the Africans knows
Yeah,
about it. England for sure. So the major countries, now the United States, the major countries who
yeah.
play netball is, the ones you're looking for in the Olympics.
Well, it's considered a Commonwealth sport, right? So
Yeah,
most of the
yeah.
countries, but we
Commonwealth
have a lot of
countries, yeah.
played in places as the United States and Europe.
Yeah. And
Even
Europe. Yeah.
if you look at the international netball site, you'll see even countries in South America. Whereas we thought cricket was played again just in the Commonwealth, we're seeing cricket big now in Europe, parts of Europe,
In Europe. Yeah.
England and Ireland
Yeah.
and Scotland, but we're seeing
Scotland,
in Germany, in Italy,
yeah. Yeah.
and a lot of cricket, right?
Yeah.
It is big in Africa, parts of Africa, Kenya, Zimbabwe, South Africa, and thing. And now we're seeing even Argentina and Brazil and all these places out there playing cricket.
It's time to play
So
cricket. Yeah.
it's for as Kito was saying, it's time for us to make that push. Us meaning the folks who are, who are
Yep.
the administrators and the movers and shakers should be
Yeah.
making the push at the big table.
Certainly.
Um,
Certainly.
yeah.
Yeah. So
So
it's definitely, surely, like I said, there's a lot going on, and certainly it is time for us in the Caribbean to start
yeah,
introducing a lot of things, and start pushing what we have, what we know, our sport, the beloveds of our sport, pushing it out there and getting it more internationally, getting on the international stage and trying to play in it and getting it out there. So surely, things to come. We may not see it in 4 years, but it could be 8 years or 16 years. Who knows?
yeah. But what we have to do too is that the administrators of sports in the region they have to make a bigger push. You see, many times, Rudy, and they attend these international meetings and things, and they
Hmm.
just attend as numbers. They invited, and they go
Yeah,
there to eat
yeah, yeah.
or to be among, quote unquote, the big boys.
Big
But
boys, and that's it. Yeah,
what are they
take a
saying
photo.
around the table?
Yeah,
Do
yeah,
they
yeah,
stand up and make a point and make a push? You know,
yeah,
where is the evidence to show that they have been articulating the views and making the case for our Caribbean folks when it comes to that, so that can get
yeah.
more training, more exposure, more these sort of
Even,
things.
and even as much as you look at as track and field being so big, it is still being pushed as it should. You
Mhm.
know, as you know, are we pushing it as much as we should? I keep saying yes. It comes to getting the sponsors and getting the stuff, but we could host a Diamond League. I'm not talking about the United States. I'm talking about a Caribbean island could host a Diamond League. You
But
know, so
no, no,
surely,
no, no, no.
yeah.
Really, may song so, but when you actually go to the Diamond League and you look at the some of the logistics involved, it's not just an ordinary track and field meet.
No, no, it's not. No, it's
Um,
not. Yeah,
it's not just an ordinary track and field. And then you have to look at the sort of the resources that you as a host have to put up
provide. Yeah,
to provide, right? Because when it comes to the Diamond League, it's the big boys, the entourage. An athlete. You cannot deny an athlete, for example, certain things. So, for example, look at this case with Holloway Grant,
yeah.
the hurdler,
You heard, like, yeah,
certain to win. He was certain to win that 110-meter hurdle. I mean, he
yeah.
has been unbeaten from since when? They didn't get to terms with certain conditions, and he decided to pull out. I mean,
People out, yeah.
you will ask yourself, why pull out of the final when you're certain to win? You have everything. It's also an automatic um, berth for the 2025 World Athletics Champions. So many
Championship.
things.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
So sometimes it looks as if you may be able to, but then there are a lot of things that have to be factored in. And then wondering whether, at the end of the day, whether you can make the cut. You understand? It's not an ordinary meet.
No, it's certainly not. But I'm saying, you see, we speak big about the sport, like when it's around. You hear even the big boys of our Caribbean, the Caribbean people. We got people of high ups, in the Caribbean, and it doesn't necessarily have to be one. It could be a country hosting it, as the host place, but it could be a Caribbean thing, right? And you put everybody put their bits into it, right, to host the games. However, it's not an ordinary meet. It's not just the day-to-day meet that you go to. It certainly is, a different spectacle. It's a totally different thing. So and it's hard to host a meet like this one day in the Caribbean. In the European, yes, but one day, people flying in and so forth. But one day, it could be challenging, So there is some realistic things too at the same time. But it would be nice to see a host of the Caribbean of a Diamond League in the
It,
Caribbean.
it would be nice to see a lot of things.
Yeah, yeah.
It would be nice to see a lot of things, but sometimes it's just not what you know it could be, and so many things, and then you have to get the various support and all these sort of things. But you know, let's let's see if we can talk a little bit. So okay, let me just let you know that so there's a men's netball for Grenada, mixed results. They won their opening game, they lost their
Yeah,
second game. They
yeah.
they defeated USA, but they lost against Jamaica. I don't have the schedule with me there, but certainly we are seeing. My only thing is that I am hoping that Netball Grenada or Grenada Netball Association, whatever they call themselves, will ensure that just as how they put in the focus into ensuring that men, well, not just playing, because I don't know of a local men's competition, right? Yes, they participated in a regional tournament, hopefully they have a development program, but they are also making effort to support grassroots netball programs in Grenada, because that should be the focus, right? And ensuring that you have programs at the schools, collaborating with the ministry, and schools meaning not just secondary schools competition. It should be primary schools. You know, a lot of time we tend to have the focus on the secondary schools, right? But forgetting that the formative years of development, the formative years, especially for sports, should be at the primary school level, right? And I find that we have a lot of unfortunate situations where we do not have competitions and these sort of things for schools for primary schools at the primary school level. For example, cricket. We had recently we saw what the under 15 or under 13 Windward Islands versus what Trinidad, playing in this tournament, in this competition. But how many tournaments or programs we have at the primary school level in terms of cricket? We have probably secondary schools cricket. But a lot of times we just concentrate. I find we concentrate on the secondary schools. The folks who are performing at the secondary school, even at intercall, Rudy, and you know that, they come from the primary schools.
Yeah.
You don't just get up and just go into a secondary school. You come from the primary school. So some of them come in basically from the primary school with their talents, with their skills. But what we do have to do at the primary level is to ensure that they get the proper training, the enhancement. So when they get at the secondary school level, it's just to move to the next stage. You can't be, I don't think you should be coaching at the secondary school level. I mean, when I say coaching, I mean basic coaching should not be at the secondary school level. That should be at the primary school level. And too many times you find coaches have to find a lot of time at the secondary school level teaching basics in terms of football, passing a ball, fielding, all these sort of things. We should concentrate more at the primary school level. And when I say concentrate more, not forgetting the secondary, but put emphasis as well on the primary school level. Primary school football, primary school cricket, primary school netball, primary school track and field. Put more emphasis on that. The talent identification should be there and not at the secondary school, right? The secondary school should be a process of monitoring and continuing the development at that level, right? We need to, and I think most times we get kind of carried away at just the second. Hey, listen, at that level, you will have a lot of attention and focus and following at the secondary school level, but we should not forget the folks at the primary. Good morning to you, Hazel. As she said, more focus on the primary level is needed. This is where all foundational work starts, which is true. You can't be. Chenny Joseph is saying, good morning, Chenny, as well. Gents, good morning. I'm excited to listen to today's sports menu. I'm told it's street football, soccer, netball, team athletics, and mouth-watering bascom juice with a Sullivan. Yes. Dessert, sorry, I said. All right, Chenny.
Yeah, Chenny. I hope it's red velvet for the dessert. But you're right. I mean, I have, I mean, it's not a place to talk about it, so I wouldn't go specific in what I've discussed. We could talk about it behind the cameras, and that it's very important. And a lot of this coaches or teachers from the elementary school do not get the recognition. Who's been there for 30 years, 20 years, 40 years, being a teacher, being a part, don't get the recognition because, when you remember also there is scholarship from the elementary school to high school in athletics. So how did they get they get a scholarship? They have to go through they have to go through have a coach, and in every, I know people get many scholarships, right? So they have to go through the process, but the coaches in the elementary schools do get left behind because they focus on the high school quite a bit. So the foundation of sports do start on the elementary school level. That's where it starts, because they do have all those sports in the school. Some of them is lacking in some places, but they do have. Oh, I remember growing up, they still have all the sports you mentioned. They still have all of it. Some of it is lacking now because maybe of teachers, maybe Then you come back again, like how much in schools, in both elementary and high school, do we have the physical education being a big part of it in school? How much of that is really depth in the school as physical education? It's been talked about, but how much of it is really serious in school? And those are the things also. Even when we talk about physical education, even that could be actually be a subject that kids can do, natural subjects. You know what I mean? So it's definitely something that is key, and certainly something that is serious. But how do the parish councils now, sports councils, tie into this? Yes, we talk about the netball association should see to the grassroots, but I think they should also work with the parish council and have the parish council see to it that netball and all the other sports is being run within the parish, within the grassroots, in the different communities, right? Within the parish councils. And I really think the sports councils in the parishes should play a big role in the grassroots of the upcoming sports in Grenada.
All right. Jenny says on one serious note, we need to plan from cradle to university on sport, and given our challenges, the coaches we have must be treated with the same attention in terms of quality teaching, right? And that's the thing about it. It's a planning stage. As much as we can do talent identification, I think it's also important that we plan, because it's all well and good in identifying talent, but if you don't have a plan, what happens? Well, so okay, you identified Hazel or Chenny as footballer, Hazel as an athlete. But what is the plan?
Yeah.
What you plan? What you plan to do? You just identify them and you just say, hey, Chenny is a good footballer, Hazel is a good athlete, and that's it. So you must have a plan. And I think that is the important thing. Planning that you identify talent. What are the stages? What is next?
And that's one of the things I constantly also say, that Grenada sporting body should have their own level of coaching, qualifying levels, level of coaching, and run program, because even a lot of these coaches don't have no level of coaching. They have no qualification. They just love the sport and they're just doing it. And that's fine and all, because we need them. Without them, nothing is going to happen. But then what is in there for them? Because after a while I'm tired, I'm done. They walk away. What is in it for them? As much as they're depending on them to work within the community, what is in it for them? It doesn't have to be financial stuff, but at least some level of coaching, saying, with that level of coaching, I can grow now, and maybe in the future I can be a national coach. Right. In football, or I can be a national coach in netball, So certainly I think that's also a part they need to play as well.
On that point, I want to share something that a Grenadian coach, well, she's Grenadian, but she's a coach in the United States. She's a volleyball coach at Medgar College. And I shared it, basically shared it in terms of adapted what she said and put it into some of my own words and posted it. But it had to do with secondary schools implementing a policy requiring updated headshots and comprehensive medical evaluations for all athletes before participating in sporting activities, and how athletes is speaking in the context of sportsmen and sportswomen. She said these headshots will ensure proper identification and could be used in official school materials And then the medical evaluations will assess the students' physical fitness and ensure their safety, reducing the risk of injury and providing peace of mind to parents and guardians. Now, some good points she made in terms of requiring the athletes and their parents to sign consent forms, allowing the school to use their photographs for promotional purposes, including advertising, social media, and event publication. She basically said, hey, put them into the realm of things now that later on, if for some reason they're recruited, you have things in place. And you're familiarizing yourself already, that's the schools and the parents, with what can be the possibilities in case they become the next Granny James, Anderson, blah, blah, blah. Because most cases, what happens is that they go into college and they're clueless as to, and now what is happening in terms of colleges with, NL and all these sort of things, and NIL, the name, and likeness and, image and likeness and, all these sort of things. Now, they have a lot of acronyms now for these things, right? With colleges, they're making a lot of money now in colleges before you know that, especially college football, and things like that. So they're preparing themselves for that. And I think one person was looking at it in the context of, it comes at a cost to the schools. And I say, hey, no. Why not give your students that as a project in school? Rudy, and you know that your average phone can take quality photos. And those students know that because most of them on TikTok and Instagram and all kind of things, right? So here what you do, school, and I'm giving you that advice, and my advisor, Chenny, is probably listening. Say, hey, you go and take some passport-size photos, headshots of the football team, the senior and the junior football team. You do the netball team. You do the cricket team. And that's, let's say, any school, right? And you're giving the students that as a project. You identify the students. You take the images and you upload it into your school computer, whatever it is. You put the information as to, here is Rudian Sylvan, footballer, Form 4, whatever it is. The basic information that the school will have and things like that. And you create a database. You can call right now, Rudian, you can call probably every school now and try to get some information about a school, etc., etc. Sorry, about an athlete. You might be interested in an athlete or whatever. And they certainly will tell you, we'll get back to you. We don't have the information now, but we'll try to get the information. And they probably will have to ask the student the information that is required. They don't have it. Right?
Well,
I'm saying that is the suggestion she was making in terms of preparing especially those who you know. And there are students, you don't have to do it to everyone, but I'm just throwing it out in terms of
that's where I was going to go there with you on that. No, there is
no, because you can identify. I just say, for example, like the football team as an example, the cricket team, the netball team, whatever. But within that, you can certainly identify some of the students that you will want to. And that can be, and by the way, she also indicated here in the suggestion, the consent with the parents and all of that. It's not just you just go and do it. It has to be something with the school and as she says, she require athletes and their parents or guardians to sign consent forms allowing the school to use their photographs for promotional purposes, including advertising, social media, and event publications. So it's not just hey, Rudian, let me take a photo of you, blah, blah, blah thing. Yes, you'll do that, but that will be with the consent of Rudian's parents. Rudian parents have agreed, they have signed the form, etc., etc. But I'm just saying that to say that, that's how he was suggesting and, preparing them for that. But let me
Well,
just,
if I can add on to that,
yeah, go ahead, go
quick.
ahead.
Um,
And,
the football in high school do it. The if, whoever body they on, if it's GFA or whoever it is, they do have headshots of the football players and the team, um, of the school teams, right? Um, and there was I was talking with someone in the ministry who was doing some stuff, and we tie some things around and do some things around, and we talk about some things. So I know football they go around to every school, do headshots with those athletes. Now in terms of the breakdown of medical stuff, they may not have all of that, but I know they have a headshot, the form, what position they play and those things. I know they have that. Secondly, what you're saying is good, but is, like you say, not for everybody. Is identifying those athletes, and it's also something in the near future that you may see. I believe you're going to see strongly in the sports policy that's coming out. So I don't want to jump the gun, but that is something that's been discussed, including dealing with parents and all this stuff. That is certainly in the sports policy. That is certainly, they're surprised to see, but it seems like it
yeah,
will be in there. Um,
but I don't want to get too carried away with the sports
And that's why I don't
policy
want to
in
go.
terms of,
Well, I'm saying the reason why I'm saying that, because exactly what she said is something that is identified to be a part of it, and there is more to go with it, not just that part
yeah,
only from the headshot and the parent silence. There is a
but
lot
with
more to
schools,
add onto it,
yeah,
and
but what
that's
I'm saying,
working with this, and that's working with schools. That's not just
yeah, but what I'm saying,
on their
this
own.
is
Yeah,
something that not even a sports part, even without a sports policy, I'm saying,
yeah.
even without a sports policy, these are basic, hold on, yeah, these are basic things that can be done without even us, because, a school can easily, I mean, the school are basically in contact. And even with a sports policy, it doesn't compel the schools or whatever to do those things. But let's just say a school can decide that they're sending consent forms to parents of 5, 6 athletes Monday morning, asking them for permission because here is a project they have, here's a plan they have. And I'm saying that to say that you don't have to wait on a sports policy for that. I mean, that would be nice. But these are things
the,
where,
the issue with the sports policy is that it's not just that piece only. There is a lot more to it, but I do understand what you're saying. And I said it's not for everybody. It's not for every student. And a lot of times when you see we watch a sports, let's look track and field, for example, and we see a kid running with no shoes, and we said, man, they said, no, these are kids that want to take part to give a point to their school. They want to give a point to their house, then in house sports. When you get to intercall, 99% of the athletes have a spikes. They don't run barefoot. 99% of them now. And they're just using intercall for an example, right? And these are more of the serious ones. So those who are more serious, more than you see that there is a brighter future for them, then you could see that, yes, that certainly can happen for them and then take it to another level, right? But then there's a lot more to it. Yes, in school, but then what happened after school? Yes, they go to the Tom CC. There is no program in Tom CC for them to continue on. There is no program at the university for them to continue on. So it's good for the school, but it's more to expand with other things onto it in terms of clubs and other things as well.
right. Let me make some comments. I mean, I'm not disagreeing with you.
No, no,
In
no, no.
fact,
Yeah, yeah,
people know I'm a strong proponent
yeah.
of sports policy because I've been around
Yeah.
sports policy since 2009. I mean, some of the people who are involved now were not even involved when I was involved. At one point in time, I was the Lone Ranger with Mr. Patrick Simmons talking about sports policy, right? So I know, and I know a lot about sports policy than a lot of people involved. But, and I'm saying that to say that even without a sports policy, these are things that can be done, and it's a no-brainer as far as I'm concerned. I mean, Michelle went in to give some more explanation and things, but I'm saying it in the context that there is nothing wrong in a school saying tomorrow on Monday, God's willing, we are sending consent forms to parents for them to sign to agree to do a profile of their child and giving reasons why, because athlete Hazel is considered a very talented athlete, etc., and whatever it is, like the case like that. So, and there's nothing wrong in that. But let me get some comments. Roger is saying, "Are we trying to reinvent the wheel?" I really would love to know what model is working elsewhere that we just need to adapt in part or whole, right? Jenny says one consideration can be the government through the ministries, education and sports coordinated by NTA to ensure coaches in all sports are not just former players, but persons who are certified and constantly upgrading in their craft. We must accept there may be talents in abundance here in Grenada, but if they find themselves being coached by persons who cannot help further develop, then we have a challenge on our hand. Very well. I think that is important. That's
Certainly,
important.
certainly.
Yeah. Morning, everyone. Yeah, Neil Wells, good morning to you. Hazel said, name, image, and likeness. Yeah, the NLI, as I was speaking about. There should be plans to make sure Caribbean athletes benefit from it while in college. So that's why, and that is what basically Michelle was actually advocated, getting themselves acclimatized to this name, image, and likeness early, right? Even at secondary and tertiary institutions like T.A. Marshall, Community College, etc., etc. And is putting themselves in a position so as in the event that they themselves, their parents, their schools and coaches and clubs, etc., will have an idea of what it is. There are coaches in Grenada, Rudian, and you may know that, who don't have a clue of how the scholarship system, the college system works in the United States in particular. And unfortunately, they do not, they are not in a position to take advantage, of certain things. You know that, right? Some more comments here. Chenny says, Mike, this portion of your program, please extract it and share with the Ministry of Education. Hopefully, someone or an institution may start this year. Neil Wells said, Chenny Joseph Bro, I agree with 100%. And and it brings to mind about 2 years ago, Axel Joseph spoke about, he came on this program and he was speaking about the similar to the PISA and having this sort of competition in Grenada, similar to PISA. I don't know if people thought it was a threat to intercall or what, but I don't think they knew up to this point know what it is, right? They just see it in the lens as something that is threatening to intercall. And I'm seeing this there now and I'm thinking about it and I'm saying probably it's a good thing to probably bring Axel back at some point to talk about that. And at that time, his vision and his thought pattern as it relates to that, it's not exactly the PSAL, which is like the public school athletic league particularly in New York. And he and others are products, right, of that league. The Amanda Crawford, for example, is one who came out of that. Axel is one who actually came out. So they know about it. And they know how it's twin with athletics. Intercall in Grenada is just about track and field. Intercall track and field. Intercall football is just about football. But the PSAL thing is not just about athletics, it's not about volleyball, it's about volleyball with education, track and field with education and all these sort of things. That's why you someone like Amanda Crawford, for example, at the age of 17, was able to complete her first master's degree. Listen to me, at 17, her first master's. So when I say first, she has another one, right? Yeah. And it was through this sort of program. And she was not just brilliant in academics, but also on the track. Albeit she became a little frustrated with the whole system of track and field in Grenada and how she's been treated. So she had to, make a decision and things like that. But that's the sort of things, Axel to tell you too about is the education, So, I mean, by the way, no, I wouldn't say it now, but somebody may want me to say it later on. Hazel is saying, Chenny says, you don't need a policy to profile the individual athletes. However, it should start with the athletes themselves. Hazel says, each federation or school should have a database that keep information that is readily available when requested. Colleges reach out to schools and federations first, right? So that's the whole idea of having that database, right? Having that database. The schools, as a matter of fact, even the primary school can have it. So as you indicated, Rudy, and some of them at the primary school, they get scholarships, especially in track and field, right? They get scholarships. But it's nothing wrong in having a database of especially your outstanding athletes, baller, basketballer, this sort of thing, having that information. So a coach, for example, at a primary school, or a principal, a teacher, recognize the talent, have that database ready so that in the event that a school contacts you regarding that athlete, you have the information available and not just saying, oh, they're only looking at these athletes and this footballer, and this, that, and this and the other. You're complaining, And sometimes some coaches and some principals reach out to other schools, with information, share information, Yeah. When Wayne McSween had these group of guys, and they performed so well at the Whitsuntide Games and all of that. And I got that information. I reached out to a coach I knew at the college they changed. They're now, it's not so much a community college now, it's now a college itself. And I gave him the information regarding those athletes. And along with a video, as a matter of fact, I got the video from Channel 6. At the time, it was Community Channel 6. Yeah. The next thing I knew is that the Monroe colleges, Monroe, I think it's now Monroe University. They changed the name just recently. They're now University, Monroe College. Siobhan Green is the name of the coach. He's originally from St. Kitts. And I shared with him that information. And immediately contacted Wayne McSween. And things happened from there. Bam, those guys went off. 2 of the guys went off to Monroe College. And then after that, there was just a stream of athletes from Grenada going off to Monroe College. And I'm saying, just a matter of sharing. Yeah. I became friends with Siobhan Green. I didn't know him at the time, but I get to know him. We met a couple of times and things like that. So, and he was very appreciative of sharing that information and becoming friends with Wayne McSween and things like that. And that's all about, communicating, networking, and these other things. And I'm saying our coaches, our principals, our teachers who have an interest and things can do likewise, right? These days, it's easy now. You don't need to travel to have a meeting with someone. It's easy now to set up a meeting online, to get some information, send an email, express an interest, and things like that. Even parents can do that, express an interest, and take it out from there. Technology is readily available, and we have to be adaptable. We have to remember that we have so many athletes competing for the same scholarships. If we are not tech savvy, well, we lose. That's why we see the South Africans and the Australians and all of them now are picking up those slots where we used to see a lot of Caribbean athletes. Because the coaches and them not going to South Africa and Australia to recruit them. No, they're communicating, and it's all because of networking and in sharing information, and the monitoring and all these sort of things, and a lot of things being streamed online, competitions and all these sort of things. They see this athlete or they see this footballer, hey, they get into contact. We trying to find, they reach out to their federation. We saw this athlete there, blah, blah, blah. We're trying to get some information on the athlete, these sort of things. So we have to be adaptable in terms of technology. Good morning, Clef says, if you don't learn sign language, speaking to the deaf, shouting with a bullhorn will not help. And that's, some people, sorry, Clef, some people may not understand that, so you may have to explain. But that to me is clear, right? And it's like, I don't know what else you can say to break that down. But we understand you clearly, right? You don't have to wonder why some people give up and say to hell with it, right? You don't have to, because it's clear. Grenada's biggest challenge is our myopic approach to receiving new and varying ideas. We have so much human resources that can shift the needle to another level in all of our sports, but there are too much bullying, territorial guarding, and grandstanding. Hence the reason 10 years from now, we'll be saying the same thing. I applaud you guys and many of your guests and followers who continue to lobby for improvement in the way we treat sports in Grenada. The unfortunate reality is that many, and probably Chenny is still writing, but yeah, we got the information there. And I'm saying that to say that, and going back to Roger's initial point, we don't need to reinvent the wheel. We don't, right? We have a lot of things already in place and coming in place, like the sports policy, as you indicated, and things like that. So that can enhance, right? But there are a lot of things that can be done even without a sports policy. I'm saying a lot of things that can be done. You don't need a sports policy for that. Certainly, the sports policy will enhance what's been done, and probably in some way make it more legit, make it more credible, streamline certain things, etc., etc. Because, for example, we talk a lot about the incentive. Even without the sports policy fully in place, government was able to put something in place in terms of an incentive for our Olympics, right? However, with the sports policy, there will be a sort of structure in place now going forward, right? So you don't really need a sports policy to do that, because there are certain things that can be done even without a sports policy. But as you say, with a sports policy, there are certain things that can be structured. So, as the comments keep coming in, Rudy, and I don't know if you got to see, but certainly it was. And let me just put it up first so that you may be able to see. Let me get one up first. Were you surprised?
Of what?
Sorry?
I know. No, I wasn't surprised. We see a lot of people running. We see a lot of them. Just one of those meets. That's all it is. People just have a good meet. I think we had. We had somebody. We had a Jamaican. We had somebody from Jamaica. Yeah.
There was someone who was surprised though. Because it was Kirani and Vernon who were battling each other in the middle.
Yeah.
I see the comments from Kirani after. He was glad for Charlie, but like, hey, where Charlie came from, because he was having so much fun with Vernon in the middle. And as the commentator
and forgot about everybody else.
The commentator and what they were saying is like, what sort of disrespect Vernon is trying to show on Kirani? Well, I'm just using my own words. You're saying to the extent you don't do that to Kirani, trying to kick out on him, because Kirani was fighting back and he had the lead, right? I'm talking about Vernon, and having fun with Vernon in the middle. But
And that
Charlie was saying, "Hey guys, none of
I'm
that."
here.
You know, Charlie was saying, "I'm not having any of that, folks." You know, and to me, I thought it was really a lot of Charlie was surprised himself, right? Charlie was surprised.
Yeah.
I don't think Charlie knew what actually happened, but he won, and he was like, wow, anything like that. So this is the actual. Let me see. Yes, right. Yeah, that's Charlie there. So Charlie is running out of lane 7.
Yep.
He is in lane 4, and Vernon is in lane 3. Because remember, lane 5 was Matthew,
Listen. Yeah.
and he pulled up. He had a hamstring. He pulled up, and somehow I believe when Matthew pulled out, it changed the rhythm of running between Kirani and Vernon, because Matthew was going in as the favorite. Remember that?
Yes, he was
Charlie was an underdog. Charlie was never in the picture.
in
It
the
was
picture. Period. Yeah.
Matthew, Kirani, Vernon, and then our Zambian guy, right? They were the guys who could have do anything there. Never was Charlie, right? As a matter of fact, Charlie didn't even make the final of the Olympics. Charlie was on the relay team, right? And then I think he was a silver medalist in the European Championship, blah blah blah. But that was his night, right? While Kirani and Vernon were having that fun in the middle there, Charlie was like, "Hey guys, I could spoil the party, but as usual, that's Kirani with Sam, right? And they having some fun. Yeah, they're having some fun there. Congratulated him.
Yeah.
Also congratulated. That's where he was congratulated. Charlie.
Charlie.
Like I wonder what it is. We'll hear from Kirani sometime, probably next week or so, in the very near future. What was it? What he was talking about? Because we'll save the video, we'll save the photos and things, so we'll hear from Kirani. And as usual, one of the things that I noticed, Rudian, is that at the end of that race, which by the way was the final event for the day, right?
Yes, it was the last one. Yeah.
The last one, because I
Yeah.
thought, based on that, even the 100, which I thought would have been the
It was
last
early. Yeah, it was early, which is surprising.
100 men and
Yeah.
By the way, congratulations to
Alfred.
St. Lucian friend Alfred.
Yeah, Alfred.
I know the bantering will continue between Alfred and Shikari. Well, the fans, I should say, of Alfred and Shikari, right? And things like that. But I'll come back to Kirani in a moment, eh? But Rudian, somehow Alfred was in a beast mode. If you look at the lineup when they were on the starting block, Alfred was in a beast mode. I don't know.
She was. She was. Yeah.
You looked at the face.
Her focus was so.
Yes.
Yeah. It was almost like the Olympics, because I watched the Olympics and I said she could win. Almost that focus was so there, and I certainly think that she was. That's why she's so good. That's why she's so good.
I looked at her face and I was like, wow. What is going on? She was in beast mode, man. And it's like, I am out for that. And no one, Hold on, let me, like no one will get to Alfred at that time she was just like out for,
She was out.
she was out for
Yeah.
blood.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was out for blood, and somehow it sets up because it was a nice way, because remember you have Juju Day coming up is on the 26th, I think. That's the day that they set aside as a holiday in St. Lucia, and to officially
Yeah, I think
welcome
that's
all.
when she's going home. Yeah, I think that's when she's going home. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's gonna
yeah,
be. I think we should take a trip. I think that would be an island to be in.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
That will be an island to be in. You can't say no to that. That will be an island to be at.
yeah. Certainly, yeah. But she was in beast mode, and I let me see if I can.
Baspitai of Gambia goes in 2. Tamari Davis of the USA in 3.
Yeah.
Champion Julian Alfred in 5.
Let me see if I. Yeah. What? That is what I want to.
Yeah.
But has been run down. She won in
Yeah.
Lausanne.
I want you to see this here.
So, Dina.
Watch that face. Watch that face.
Has been super quick over the blocks in the last 2 or 3 races, but has been run down. She won in.
Yeah. That is the what I wanted you to see. She was in beast mode. Certainly in beast mode. Yeah. In beast mode. Right. And congratulations. But getting back to our boy Kirani, I was saying that look at it. This I looked at probably. I normally will look at different feeds, so I'll take the BBC and all these other things. And certainly, it was a British guy who won. So you were hoping that they will be focusing a lot on Charlie.
On him.
It was on Kirani. And Kirani was there taking selfies with the, with the spectators and then his interviews and all these sort of things. In fact, there were more comments from Kirani in the mix zone than from Charlie. I don't know if Charlie was lost for words,
but Charlie was surprised. Charlie didn't know what to do,
Yeah,
so.
Yeah, but somehow it was all about Kirani, right? Let me take some comments now from some right. Lincoln say what we are talking about is a change in approach, a change in mindset, a change in culture. In this case, we are talking sports. Like so many other things, including healthcare improvement and solving crimes, it requires a coming together of people across sectors and across political affiliation. No one group can do it. We need to have consensus on some things to move them forward and to institutionalize them. We'll be having success today and failure tomorrow, just like the West Indies cricket. I suspect that Charlie fella drank some of that Van Nickel juice by Charlie in the hospital and they normally say when a guy runs out and made 8 and 7 Rudian and could win a race sometimes, Normally
you understand they run the race where I cannot allow these guys to catch me. That's the mindset they're going with. So, and then you have a lot of these athletes. I remember we have somebody on from Jamaica who talk about the athletes who never perform well at the character games, but later on you see they performing very well. Because we look at the character game as one meet, especially in the youth development. We talk about the junior development, because really after the character games, for the athletes in the Caribbean, there's nothing major for them. I know that there's talk of pushing the character games to later on in the year and those type of things. There was discussion about that, and we're seeing that with a lot of athletes. Later on in the year, you see they run faster. Later on in the year, you see they perform well. That means they're slow to develop. They bloom later on. And sometimes that's happening with some of these athletes and them later on in meets. So when they get into a meet like this, then you see they're performing well with personal best and winning a Diamond League as we see. So hopefully he put his name on the map. He put his name out there. to definitely get some sponsor, and you just never know from here for him. It
Yeah,
might be a life changing for him from this point on, or it could be a one off.
right.
Until then, we wouldn't know.
Yeah. As it says, Kirani being a role model has always inspired others to be their best. Always happy to see him congratulating others and giving them their flowers,
The
right?
flowers, yeah, certainly,
Yeah.
yeah.
Clev say, until we understand sports, all aspects can be treated as a seasonal product. Mango, plum, peas, or corn. Recognizing it's a full-time job, rain, sun, or storm, we must remain engaged, prepared, and focused to benefit from the hidden talents of our youth, right? And
And I'm
it's
going to
great.
tap onto this. If I can
Right.
tap onto this, is saying as well, where a part of it too, we see a lot of these people in certain jobs, especially when it comes to sports, in whichever sports. One, they never played the sport before. They may never even understand the sport. They never have the mindset of certain things, but they in the job making decision. Not saying they can't make decision, but there is that 60% of those who is in that position who never played the sport, never always make mistakes in terms of never think of the athletes. They think of a business aspect about it, and that's part of it that have to change. In a sense, if somebody don't know math or don't have the accounting, putting them in a bank job to do what? If they don't know, if they don't have the skills for that. If they just give them a job and then put them in the bank, they got to have the skills to do it. And that's the same thing here. Some of these people don't have the understanding of certain sports, and not only track and field, but all sports. They never played the sports before. I remember saying to you some time back, person who decided to come and run Athletics Canada, never run track in his life, but he's running Athletics Canada. And that certainly was a failure, and he didn't last. So you
Mhm.
also have to put people in there who can understand the sport, who probably even played the sport before, to help. Not all the time. So there's some people who have some strong business aspect about them in terms of moving forward into whatever it is that they're going to do. But you got to have some sort of sense of the sport and understanding of some athletes before you make some decisions, right? So
Um,
yeah.
I'm seeing well, I don't know why it's, sometimes. So the Ministry of Sports National Cross Country race schedule for today, Saturday, starting point at SAS Playing Field. Buses leave 1 p.m. at various locations. Blah, blah, blah. I'm saying, this is today. Um, why, we should have had that information a while now. I could have probably put it together in such a way that I could have speak a little more about it. I'm seeing it's kind of long there, but I even checked my email to see if there's anything in our email or whatever. But it's apparently there's a cross country that's starting the schedule, which starts today but they have buses leaving at 1 o'clock at various locations. But the starting point is at SAS. So I believe probably at 2 or whatever after 3 o'clock they might be starting. That's the information there. Getting back to some of the comments. Until we understand, no, Clev said this earlier. Oh, Pele was saying, right. So the Julian Alfred Day is September 27. Clev said the 400-meter Olympic winner from the US still limping. Nice to see Jamaica rebounding on the tracks and now on the field events. It was a horrible outing for Jamaica. The Olympics, right? And even now, we're still seeing not many Jamaicans, because certainly would have liked to see Thompson in the 100. We would have loved to see Shellyan and Sharika and all these, a lot of prominent and top Jamaican athletes, not just from the Olympics, but we're missing at the remainder of the Diamond League. I don't know if they said, hey, that's it for the rest of the season, and things like that. We don't know what's going on because there have been talk that not all is well in the camp, right? And Kyron is saying he's a world-class professional, I think referring to Kirani. That's what he does, consistency, and will certainly be a big part of his legacy when he calls it a day, certainly. Sorry for the deviation. I'm hopeful Kirani James can be a name, Grenada's global youth and sports ambassador, and be given a role to mentor youths as well as promote the island globally. This gentleman is a gem that we must cherish, but you should not be wondering what next for him after his active sporting career. And Roger says, I'm open to volunteer sometime of mine to help with the development of sports. My hand is up. And Karen say, excellent point by the co-host. We need people with, at minimum, the background in the respective field. Right. So, guys, thank you very much for all the comments. Certainly, it's always a pleasure. Really, I agree. There should be a balance in expertise when deciding on putting people in these positions. And certainly, we have been seeing every time, and that's why I don't agree sometimes with the entire reading of executive positions at times.
Yeah.
Right? We sometimes believe that we just get rid of everything and put it.
Everything. Yeah. No, and it shouldn't be.
No, but by the way,
It shouldn't be.
but if people, agree to, like, for some reason, people agree that, hey, I had enough and it's time to give somebody else, I'm okay with that. But people must be allowed to mentor and at sometimes guide people. And I always, people may not like to hear that, but someone like Vida.
Michael, you took it right off my mouth. I didn't want to call the name, but I was going to say something. After you go, I'm going to say something. Yeah.
Her level of experience, even if the leader decides to call it a day, with her level of experience, and I'm saying it again, people may not like to hear what I'm saying. That's okay with them, but she should be given that opportunity, right? To be around and in some cases assist, because she has the contacts, she has that experience. People may not like her style and etc. But I am saying she is someone that should be, and she's only one I'm using as an example.
Yeah.
There are a number of other people that can be quarrel around and gain insights from them into how you do certain things. It may not be exactly what you want to do, but you have an insight into how things were done and how things can be
done. Yeah.
into your life.
Yeah.
Right? And things like
I
that.
was going to say permit me. I was literally going to say permit me for using her name, but I was going to use Vida Bruno because I have defended her. I have people come and say, "Oh, she's been there too long, and it's time for she to leave," and da da da. And I said, "Hold up! Do you know the experience and the expertise and the knowledge that she holds? That the changes and the things that she can do?" And they don't know that. They only looking at the time she's been there for so long, but they don't see what she do in the background. They don't have a clue what is taking place in the back. So certainly, there are some people we quick to toss to the side because they've been around a lot. It's one thing if you've been there but not doing anything, then it's time to go. And that goes from the top to the bottom, if including in government. If you're even in a position there, and if you're not doing anything, I'm sorry, it's time to leave. Period. But if someone is actually doing something and making a difference and making a change, sometimes you don't have to see it, but they are making a change and they're making a difference. I'm sorry, we need them around. And Vida, with her experience and her knowledge, is someone that can be around for some time or mentor someone to take over when she leaves. Teach them the ropes, teach them the thing, give them that connection, because you could learn so much from her. So much from her. So we're not quick to toss her to the side because she's been there for so long. No, she's there because she's doing a wonderful job. So certainly, I wanted to say that.
All right. So let's wrap up. Final comment from Clev Kirani, undoubtedly the most decorated 400-meter athlete of this era. Providence determined his destiny with talent, humility, and kindness. And people also must be willing to step up and take over, put your name in the ring to contest for president, general secretary, treasurer, PRO. Yeah, well, that's the other thing, eh?
Definitely.
Yeah.
They talk, but they don't want to. They don't want to be in the circle. They'll stand there on the outside, and they don't want to be in the circle. Stop the talking and get some action going.
Yeah. All right. Thank you very much, everyone, for your comments, and look forward to your company hopefully next week, God willing, if I'm not on assignment. But I should say God
Yeah,
willing.
next week I let me know because I'm gonna stay in town just for the program. Then I'm gonna head out. My anniversary is next Saturday, my wedding
Oh,
anniversary. So we are going to go out of town. But I was gonna
yeah.
stay and leave later on in the evening so that we could have the program.
Yeah,
So
so
let me
I'll
know.
let you know.
Yeah, keep me
I don't
posted.
want to spoil the anniversary. I do
No,
not
no,
want
no,
to
no, no.
spoil the anniversary.
We really it's funny. We really plan already.
Yeah.
To we is gonna stay later. Well, I told her, I do have my program, and we
But
agree on that. So certainly, yeah,
just in case, because I may be on the road as well, but just
yeah.
in case, on behalf of all, I want to wish you, your wife, happy anniversary.
Thank you, thank you.
Right. Happy anniversary
Yeah,
in
yeah.
advance. All right. Thank
Thank
you
you.
very much, Ruben. Okay then.
All
So
right.
that's Rudy and Sylvan live in Toronto, Canada. And thank you very much to all folks for all the comments on today's program. Looking forward to your company next week's God willing. Okay. Next week, God's willing. If we have a program, I'll let you know. But thank you once again. I appreciate it. Until then, do have yourself a pleasant weekend.